A to the K.
A to the K.
A to the K.
Coming up tonight on the Ringside Report. Triple H announces his retirement.
Bo Dallas reveals he's returning to wrestling soon.
Ric Flair's podcast host quits amid Twitter argument.
Arn Anderson thinks talent is not being on TV often enough is an issue for AEW.
Alexa Bliss.
That one.
Alexa Bliss addresses Ronda Rousey heat rumours.
ITV is bringing a new wrestling-based sitcom.
WWE set to partner with Fanatics.
Fandango has announced his plans to retire.
MJF and Toni Khan have explosive argument over Ariel Helwani interview.
AEW is set to unveil new women's signing for the Owen Hart Cup
tonight. And The Rock versus Roman Reigns is penciled in for WrestleMania 39. Anthony, when's all that coming up?
It's all coming up right fucking now, Carl.
Yes, it is. Let's kick off with some unfortunate news. Triple H, the legend, the game, King of Kings, the Blue Blood, whatever else he's had, unfortunately has announced his retirement from the ring. So he appeared on ESPN's show with Stephen A. Smith, and basically, as we know, it was reported that he had a cardiac event some time ago. And this is probably the first time he's opened up in terms of, you know, the extent of that and kind of what it all meant. And he's quoted as saying, "As far as in ring, which I get a lot, I'm done. I will never wrestle again. First of all, I have a defibrillator in my chest, which probably not a good idea for me to get zapped on live TV." He's not wrong. But you know, it's a really emotional interview. If you've not kind of checked it out, I recommend you do so. But it probably will make you cry. He was basically quoted then off the back of that as saying, you know, he had heart failure, bad. By the next morning, they were sending him to get an MRI, and basically his ejection fraction was down to 12. He was nosediving, and it was kind of sort of at the 1 yard line of, you know, where you need to be, or ideally where you don't want to be for your family or your future. And basically said that, you know, there's moments in there when they're putting you out for stuff and you think, is this it? Do you wake up from this? You know, and that's kind of tough to swallow. He said it makes you think differently about life. It doesn't make you any less driven for the things that you do, but it certainly makes you appreciate the things that you have more. Your friends, your family. And yeah, like what a terrible thing. And I think, you know, whatever you think about Triple H, whatever you think about obviously the politics side of things and the stuff he's, you know, done behind the scenes and this, that, and the other, I think he's had an incredible in-ring career, and he really, you know, is responsible for a lot of growth for a lot of the current crop of talent, and his initial vision for NXT and where he took that and stuff like that, you know, has to be, you know, commended as well. I think he will always go down as an absolute legend of the game, no pun intended. But he is the game, and he will be sorely missed in the ring.
Couldn't agree more. I think he is very much a wrestler from our era, and I think that's what makes this a harder pill to swallow in some senses. And like, he's by no means the first, but like a lot of the people you see having to retire from in-ring action are people from slightly different eras. Even Shawn Michaels, to a degree, was from an era slightly before ours. You could argue he had his heyday before, like, our Attitude Era heyday, if you will. Whereas I think Triple H had his heyday within the Attitude and beyond. So seeing things like Triple H retiring is like, it's a hard pill to swallow. And he's obviously he's definitely doing the right thing for himself and for his family. But it's a somber thing, as well as, like, you know, it's awesome that he gets to sort of retire on those sort of terms. And, you know, it's nuts to find out he's got a defibrillator in his chest. That's crazy. Like, you don't realise how bad this cardiac event is until he drops a bomb like that, you know what I mean? But, you know, the fact that he's able to go out relatively healthy on his terms is a good thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's I suppose a bit surreal for the likes of you and me who, like, I know you watched it from a very young age, Carl. So you've got the likes of Mr. Perfect and stuff in your sort of memories and down as your favorite wrestlers and stuff like that. But our generation's heyday of wrestling was the likes of Stone Cold and Triple H and so on like that. And see more and more of them retiring is just, it's never going to be like, not sad,
No, definitely not.
Proper eloquent the way I just put that. It's never going to be not sad. Let's quote that.
It's defo not sad, mate. You're right. Wait, no, that sounds wrong. What?
I'm never really sure Ross Sapp, I might have a quote like that.
Yeah, no, but I think you're absolutely right. I think Triple H was a firm favourite in my household growing up, and yeah, I will definitely miss him in the ring. It's a shame that he didn't get to go out. As weird as it is, I think his final match was like a mixed, not a mixed tag match, but it was a tag match with him and Shinsuke Nakamura teaming up.
I know this is
randomly.
It's shocking. It was a house show, wasn't it? So not a lot of people know this was his last match, but it's an interesting one to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember his opponents. It was, I think Samoa Joe was in there, someone else as well. But yeah, not how you want to,
It's really super sad, isn't it, that like his baby was NXT. And a lot of the younger, that doesn't necessarily work. A lot of the talent, like Shinsuke and those sort of, I suppose, earlier days NXT people, like they have a lot of time, a lot of respect for Triple H because he's brought them into the game. And it's like, it's really sad to see that, like, and I don't want to turn this into a whole thing of like, oh, the disrespect, but it's really sad to see that the minute he's not got the wheel, like NXT's changed for the worse, sadly.
Yeah, definitely. It is a massive shame. I think obviously he had a very clear vision on what he wanted to do, and for a long period of time there before AEW came along, it was the best thing about WWE.
Yep.
And then it just kind of, I don't really know what happened. Obviously, we're not close enough to know, but yeah, it just kind of,
I'll tell you what happened. Shawn Michaels happened.
I mean, if you want me to blame Shawn Michaels for yet another thing, I am on board to do that.
I feel like we should, even if it's not true. I feel like we should.
I'm down. I'm game. Hey, did it again.
Hey!
But yeah, so obviously, raise a glass, the legend that is Triple H.
Raise a
hell of a career.
Yeah. Indeed. Now, you made a comment on Instagram while we're talking about this that I would like to see. Right? I'm gonna read it out, Scott, because you had a conversation with someone with some confusing responses, but you mentioned that he announced his retirement, but you also mentioned right. Imagine his final entrance. Hope he gets to come out and say goodbye at least. That was your comment, Carl. Mm-hmm. And I totally agree with that. I think it'd be great to see him address the crowd because, let's face it, it's an addictive business. And I think him getting that crowd pop one more time would be great for him, not just the fans, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you did get a response to that, which I don't understand, if I'm honest with you.
Okay.
Which said, he's good, let him rest. Ultimate Warrior did that and died the next day. Like, is that true?
I mean, he came back, didn't he, on Raw? So he was inducted in the Hall of Fame.
That, like the fans coming out to the fans, and that, like, is that true?
Well, I mean, yeah. So Hall of Fame, Ultimate Warrior, inducted, came out the next night on Raw. Did a very. It's such a weird promo to watch. Watch back now, knowing what happened. But he basically was going on about the Ultimate Warrior will live forever, and then literally passed away. I'm not sure if it was the next day, but it was very, very shortly after.
Well, that's terrifying, but incredibly unfortunate. Like we can't just assume that. I don't want to address this comment specifically too much, but I still kind of would like to see Triple H get to have that for him as much as us, to get to address the crowd again. Like that's got to be very
someone
unusual situation.
Someone like Triple H absolutely loves a custom entrance. Like for all the big shows, he always comes out with something, of grandeur, whether it's Terminator, whether it's like a fucking King type thing or Skull type thing.
Whether he's just surrounded by some of the biggest women in NXT. Then you come out one day, sat on your throne with Alexa Bliss to one side, Sasha to the other. Fair enough.
Yeah, riding down on your fucking motorbike with your missus. There's loads of things he's done. So even that in itself, like I think the best way to honour him would be to have him come out to WrestleMania this year and just be like,
it'd be awesome.
Do something, but nothing's been announced. But I would love it if it was like a surprise thing and he came out. I think he would.
But again, like to address that comment slightly, like obviously, if it's in any way a risk to his health, then no. But like it would be nice for him to get that one last sort of crowd reaction before he truly retires.
Yeah, which I mean to be fair, I don't know. I imagine the amount of adrenaline, in your soul, as you go out there, kind of.
Be part of the control mates.
Yeah, but no, jokes aside and stuff. But I think, it could be. It's a very scary thing going on in front of a live audience in it. So maybe they've advised him not to do that in case, obviously, it's natural nerves, adrenaline kick in, and your heart starts to beat a bit faster. And
I kind of get it, like, but I'm just like, it's weird for me to think like the last promo I remember from him was the COVID promo where he come out, and don't worry, I think he handled that brilliantly. You remember the COVID era? He come out on NXT, he tried to do his water bottle thing, and they took the water bottle off him and stuff like that. It was held so comically and so well. I thought it was really good, but to think that was his potentially his last promo in the ring is crazy, really.
Indeed. But yeah, so obviously wishing Triple H the best in his future endeavours, not in that way. But whatever he does, obviously, legend, and hope all ends up okay.
Indeed. Indeed. So the next one, Carl, is Taylor Rotunda, the former Bo Dallas, being a big old tease. So why, Carl? Well, I'll tell you why. Right, he's basically quite recently come out and said on, he was doing a virtual signing for Captain's Corner. And he said, "I'm far from done." That's a quote. I'll tell you now. And the next quote is, "Not to make any cliche, but I'm just getting started. And if you don't believe me, you'll see. If you don't believe, you'll see." And obviously, but he's basically, I'll paraphrase from beyond here, but he's sort of hinted that he's going to be back in the ring. It's going to be soon, and he's basically, I keep saying basically, everything's so basic here, but he said it's not going to be anything you've ever seen from him, so beware. What do you make of this, Carl? This is intriguing. Now, he's not hinted specifically at any company or any particular thing, but it's going to be soon, and it's going to be back in the ring. So do you think we may see a Ring of Honor, an AEW, an Impact?
I think he might control his narrative. I don't know. I think. Look, this guy earns my utmost respect because he's banging Liv Morgan. So fair play, Bo. I believe.
We could give you the title belt for that. We fucking would.
Yes. We believe in whatever the fuck you're selling. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, by all accounts, he's one of the Rotundas. He was massively over as Bo Dallas in NXT. Never got the same reaction on the main roster, but that doesn't mean, I've always said this before, if you can get over, you can get over again. And I absolutely believe that you can. And he was very over as Bo Dallas. Believe. Look, I said this all the time about Zack Ryder. It was like he's being able to get over in any situation. Look at him now. Left the WWE.
Another one people thought it was because he's with Chelsea Green. Fair play
exactly.
Fair play.
Yeah. I know many people have broken their wrist of.
That is quality.
Aye, kid. But yeah,
come for the content, stay for the jokes.
So yeah, we believe Bo, and I think we all would love to see you back. In the wrestling world. So no idea where that might be. It could be in WWE. Who knows? But yeah.
Indeed. I mean, I kind of get the WWE connection, but he was released, so I'm expecting. I personally am expecting like an indie level. I don't think it's going to be an AEW thing. I don't even think they use him right, in all honesty. And this is me being an AEW fan. I could see like an Impact Ring of Honor level thing and I think that'd be a good thing for him. Look at it's not a bad thing when you mention indies. Look at Zack Ryder, as you say, he's been killing it. So
exactly.
Wherever he goes, I look forward to seeing him in action again.
Indeed. So the next one is around about Ric Flair. And basically...
Yes, this was quite a spat, wasn't it?
A little bit. So, as we know, Ric Flair has his own podcast. Obviously, if you listen to this, then you understand why you're not listening to his.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you want to listen to a man swing his dick around, then listen to Ric Flair.
Oh, I thought you meant us. My bad. I'll put it away. But yeah, obviously he's got the Woo Nation Uncensored podcast that he hosted with Mark Madden, who was former commentator for WCW back in the day. But no more, unfortunately. So Mark Madden has announced that he is going to be leaving the show. So he initially thanked Flair for the opportunity to host the podcast with him. But basically, Flair came back to say, love and appreciate you, Mark Madden, but actually, I relieved you of your duties. Best of luck with your work. I'll be back and better than ever next Monday because I'm going home to my son-in-law, Conrad Thompson.
Nothing like being a petty dickhead.
Exactly. Now, Mark Madden came back to say, by the way, you didn't even have the balls to tell me you were firing me. You said the podcast was cancelled, period. Your son-in-law had to tell me the truth. Why couldn't you just let it go? Why couldn't you just be a friend after 35 years? And then Madden...
kids has Rick got?
I have no idea. I mean, that he knows of? I don't know. Then Madden...
I know Conrad was his son-in-law. That's news to me.
I mean, well, Conrad married his daughter. It's not like Conrad's his kid.
Yeah, but like, how many daughters has he got?
I don't know. Again, that he knows of. But yeah, so Madden went on to basically... It got a bit personal, basically. Madden went on to say that Ric Flair had gone from the greatest wrestler ever to what he has become today. Flair then took a bit of a jab at Madden by basically saying that, not only was he cancelled by the Pat McAfee show, he's also been cancelled by him. To which Madden then basically revealed that Flair was originally bound for AEW prior to the controversial Dark Side of the Ring episode, but Tony Khan basically disinvited Rick from his birthday party, and they haven't spoken since.
That's such a different life Tony Khan leads, isn't it?
It's his party. It's his party. He can fire you if he wants to.
You proper missed out.
Exactly. Can you imagine Ric Flair in a bouncy castle just wooing his way around? Jesus.
I actually can.
So obviously
would end up being just an out of touch old man who's a bit of a sex pest. Who'd have thought it?
New.
Everyone.
But yeah, it got even more personal again. So basically, off the back of that, then Madden was basically saying, God gave you the gift of life a few years back, and you thanked him by getting shit-faced every single night like you are right now. You're the greatest wrestler ever. What you've become is sad. So it turned very personal, and Rick basically just kind of ended it. And yeah, so by all accounts...
Okay. Not to digress slightly, but slightly branching on what he said there, who actually considers Rick the greatest wrestler ever these days?
A lot of people, to be fair.
I thought that might have passed by now, and that's no disrespect to Rick. He's had a hell of a career, and he could be considered one of the greats. But as generations move, I'm surprised he's still considered the greatest wrestler ever by many people, to be honest.
So the thing with Rick is he was very much the greatest of like the NWA and early WCW era. So obviously, as different eras came up and came about, you obviously had Hulk in WWF, you had obviously Bret Hart in the later years, you had Shawn Michaels, you had loads of other people down the line. But I think Ric Flair kind of, in a time when it was the likes of Rick and Dusty Rhodes and Harley Race and people like that, back in the old school territory days of NWA, he was the guy. When he ended up coming to WWE, it was almost a watered-down version of Ric Flair, which is mad to think about because of how good he was in the short stint he had with WWE in his first run. But yeah, I think many still do believe that he is. But I mean, you can say the same about the likes of Bret Hart. How many years ago was it since Bret was last in the ring? But he's got that cult following.
There are people like your good self, all due respect, Carl, who will still refer to like Mr. Perfect and Bret and the like. But Rick, not so much. So I'm looking at that generation and going, okay, so you prefer your technical wrestlers. I'm sure there's some people who would have listed Rick, but maybe the early, like your dad's generation. Hey Gary, maybe your dad's generation who like might list the likes of Rick, right? But as obviously time moves on, like you and me are kind of getting past it. Like no one really cares who we think are the greatest anymore. It's like the other generation now that they're all listing Roman, so we're fucked, right? But sorry, that was unnecessary. Yeah, but I'm just curious, and this is nothing against Rick at all because he's absolutely a legend and he absolutely is one of the greatest. But to be referred to as the greatest surprises me because it's like, by whose standards nowadays? You know, like I'm slightly off base on this, but I'm just curious. Like, I imagine there's less and less people listing him as the greatest now.
Yeah, maybe. I think the stuff he's done in his career, and kind of how his career has been tarnished off the back of that hasn't really helped. It's easier to be remembered so fondly when you've had a kind of a squeaky clean career.
Hey, Undertaker.
Yeah. The problem with Taker is that people now realise that it's like, oh, this is what he thinks about stuff.
It's like, yeah, maybe you should have kept with the silent thing.
We could. We could.
The only kid because 7 foot tall.
Exactly.
And could kill us.
Please don't beat the shit out of us, Tim.
Or rent us a house. Both things are true. Kind of weird.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, so ultimately, Ric Flair is going to Conrad Thompson's. He's going to be his new co-host. So
this guy, like, we all talk about the belt collector. We don't talk about the podcast collector that is Conrad.
Exactly.
This guy.
I mean,
like
the funny thing is with this guy is that it's still not even his main thing. He's still like saveatconrad.com or whatever it is, isn't it? Like,
yeah, he's like a finance guy or something.
Yeah, who knows? But fair play to the guy. People want to work with him, and he's obviously built a reputation. Why the hell not? I would love to work with Ric Flair.
Rick built a reputation too, but let's not talk about that.
For all the wrong things. So yeah, just a little interesting one there for you.
Okay. Now, my affectionately mistitled Arn Anderson headline is the next one.
It's because of his gun arm.
Of course. Now, this might be a little one-sided, Carl, because Arn isn't really unbiased in this comment, but he basically quite recently on one of his episodes of The Arn Show was talking about AEW talent appearing on TV and sort of disappearing for long periods of time. Now, I'm not saying it was specifically for a reason, but he happened to list his son. What are the odds, right? But no, joking aside, it is a good example. He mentioned that his son was one of those examples where, he debuted, he was partnered with Cody, and he had a really good match with QT. I mean, does anyone have a really good match with QT? Yeah, fuck it, I'm throwing salt everywhere. And then we didn't really see him on TV, and that is true. And the whole sort of topic was like, is that sort of a problem? Is that damaging? And obviously Arn is saying, yeah, it's not a good thing. That, like, how does talent like his son become sort of ingratiated with the crowd, I suppose? That's my words, not his, obviously, if they're not on TV regular enough. But he did also say that, he's not knocking Tony. He knows what he's trying to do and why he's cycling the talent out of TV. But, I suppose it's a difficult, and this is where we've mentioned it before, is like the roster's probably too big at this point, and people still class the likes of Dark and stuff. As much as I really enjoy the concept of Dark, and I think it's a good way of trying to tackle the digital media age, the people who watch YouTube more than they watch fucking TV these days, which is quite a lot of people. You could argue Dark is a smart move in the long term, but people still class it as like a downgrade. So a lot of the younger talent, a lot of developmental talent are going to Dark and not getting seen as much. And I suppose it's that sort of topic. And I can kind of see Arn's point that it is sort of damaging to the younger talent. But what do you do when you've got such a stacked roster? So, yeah. Carl, that is the question I put to you. What do you fucking do? What are you going to do?
Well, the first point of Dark, I think they are doing that to kind of build up a kind of repository of matches to eventually have on a network somewhere in the future. So I think even though people look at Dark as like, oh, well, it's not really on telly, I think these matches will still be readily available down the line. But, taking Brock Anderson out of the equation because that's a little bit too personal. Another name that Arn mentioned was Dante Martin, and I completely agree. You've got Dante Martin. I know his brother's come back now from injury, so they might go back to tag team. But in the few times that we saw Dante Martin, I was blown away by the guy, thinking this is something that he's got something. It's something which isn't like a Rey Mysterio, isn't like a typical high flyer. It's stuff that you look at and you're just mesmerized by. Of like, how is he doing this shit? And unfortunately, he's kind of faded into obscurity as well. And I don't know. It's a tough one because when you've got a roster that size, it's got pros and cons, right? Because the pros are the fact that you're not fed the same thing week after week after week to the point you're tired of it. You don't have to see rematches all the time and all that good stuff. But then the cons are that your favourites and the people you like don't necessarily get featured every week. And I think it's just a very weird thing to people who are used to seeing the same stuff every single week. So if you are kind of in the WWE bubble, you're expected to see the same match 5 or 6 times, in the space of a month or two. Whereas in AEW, you're lucky if you get, the same match 3 times in a year, if not 2 years. So I don't know. I think the roster is massive. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it gets unnecessary flack for the size of the roster. But because the funny thing is, on the other hand of this, people who hate the schedules that wrestlers have to work, it's like, oh, they're on the road every day, and they work 300 days a year, and they're always in the ring and don't get a break. And it's like, well, okay, but if you don't have them on TV, every week, then it's a bad thing. And it's like, well, hang on.
Yeah, it's like a how do you win kind of situation, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's one of them. Arn raises some good points that there's massive talent in the undercard, but it's hard to fit everybody on your main shows. Let's face it. So I don't look at it as like, oh, they're doing a terrible job or anything like that. I think would it be nice to feature some talent more?
It's fighting that expected culture in some senses, like you say, really, that we expect to see them all the time. So when we don't, it's like it feels like an insult, but it shouldn't.
No.
It's a very physically demanding job, so we should be able to have some time away. And we're not goldfish as much as WWE like to think we are.
I mean, old school, back in the day, you used to have episodes of Raw, for example, where you wouldn't see a certain guy on telly for 2-3 weeks, but he was still, a top guy, and that kept them fresh, and it kept it excited when you did see them. So, I don't know, I think it is, as you were saying then, back to that kind of expectation economy of, we expect to see them every week, and when we don't, it's like, well, fuck you, we're not seeing them. And it's like, well,
yeah.
Isn't it more exciting when you do?
A few times with WWE, there's been a couple of times now where they could have not had Roman that week and it wouldn't have affected the build or the results of the WrestleMania match. That
exactly. Sometimes it feels like that, carting them out because they have to. And it's like, well, we need to start off with a Roman promo because that's what we do every week. And it's like, well, do you think it could be helpful to not, have him this week?
Exactly. It's not like we're going to forget who Roman is at this point. I get that, I'm not pissing on Arn's points because I get that it's different for younger talent like Brock Anderson, who and to be fair, Dante Martin, who are lesser known. They need to build up to be fan favorites before you can do that. But at the same time, it's like there's a lot. Let's be honest, I'm not just throwing salt at WWE here. AEW would not suffer from not having Punk talk one week. That would be fine. It's not a problem. He doesn't have to talk every week. I get that he's a good talker, but literally the cards often just have Punk talks or Punk appears. I was like, we get it. He's a big draw, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be there every week. It wouldn't be a problem. But sadly, we're in the network TV numbers game, aren't we? So,
we are, and that dictates a lot of it, isn't it? So,
dick.
So, yeah, good one though. Interesting discussion. Speaking of interesting discussions,
might even listen to your podcast. Sounds good.
We won't. So the next one we are going to talk about Alexa Bliss. So there's been a rumor for quite some time now that Alexa Bliss has got some kind of heat with Ronda Rousey or vice versa. That kind of stemmed.
Heating up.
So originally it was stemmed from Ronda Rousey's in-ring style potentially causing Alexa to be injured after working with her. So a lot of people kind of got on Rousey's back off the back of that. And it was reported that Alexa Bliss actually mentioned in a group chat that basically cast some shade on Ronda in this group chat with other WWE women, confirming, that was said and it was all happening and stuff like that, as off the back of Alexa kind of getting injured. So,
I mean, I'll tell you now, Carl. Like, she didn't say anything like that in the group chat, mate. Like,
well, exactly. I mean, as included members of all this, we've got the inside scoop. But basically, Alexa Bliss has shot down those rumors finally. So she posted on Twitter, a full response read, "This is quite comical and not true. I'm only in one group chat, and it's with my bridal party. Hashtag keep trying, trolls."
And as I say, she didn't say anything in that group chat.
Exactly. But did you see the dress? We kid. Yeah. But yeah, interesting one. I think. I guess I don't know. Alexa could just be kind of trying to, put out any potential fires, or it could just be complete truth that nothing ever really happened there. I think there's no question that there was something weird going on at the time with
Would Ronda injure anyone with them punches?
Well, I don't know if you remember, what was so funny at the time was that Alexa is quite close with Nia Jax, and Nia was defending Alexa against how stiff Ronda was working. So at the time, we were all like, what?
Fuck you talking about, Nia?
Have you looked in the fucking mirror? But yeah, so apparently that was all quite a big thing at the time. But yeah, evidently Alexa says that there was no kind of derogatory comments, nothing mentioned against Ronda in any group chats because she's not in any. And tried to kind of put that one to bed. But I'd like to hope there isn't any animosity there. Obviously, Ronda's back with the company now, and Alexa, I can't believe she's not featured at all at the minute. She's cleared, she's ready. Where the fuck is she?
I mean, by the sounds of it, she's in like a wedding party chat group. Then is she like having like a bit of low key time because she's dealing with her wedding stuff? So they're like,
well, I mean, how much more low key time does she need? She's had a fucking year off.
Well, I mean, we saw her at the Elimination Chamber, Carl. Come on.
That was like a week ago.
Have we seen her since? I don't even know.
But I mean, the last time we saw her was at that clusterfuck of WrestleMania. You know what's mad as well? Sidebar.
Therapy.
Well, yeah, that was true. Sidebar. Isn't it mad how many...
Let's talk about Retribution.
Yes, the latest member. Isn't it mad how many people from last year who aren't actually even with the company anymore now?
Baffling, isn't it?
There's a lot of names. There's at least 10, 15 names.
Yeah. Crazy, innit? Crazy. You can't talk about anything without tripping over a name of somebody who's not there anymore.
True.
You just mentioned Nia just by happenstance. She's not there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Bray, who she was with in that segment. So good to know that there's no beef according to Alexa, and hopefully
no beef.
Indeed. So that was that one.
Right. Well, the next one, Carl. Just an interesting tidbit for the UK fans. Are you from the UK? Tune in right now. I don't know how you tune in without listening to us already. Anyway, we have, Carl, a new sitcom coming to ITV2. What? So this may be something that gets over the pond and is in the US in some capacity. I don't know what channel you're going to have it on. I don't know. Peacock? Is that a channel? Is that just a network? I don't know. Anyway, so ITV2, Carl, we're going to have a new show called Deep Heat. Now, what's the show about here, you ask? Well, calm down, I want to tell you.
Clearly, it's about people with bad backs.
This is, well, clearly, it's what it's all about, rehab and all that. But now this is going to be a comedy, Carl. It's going to be more of a sitcom format, but it's going to be about a group of misfits, as it usually is for some reason with UK sitcoms. And they're going to be joining together, Carl, in a bid to save a pro wrestling company. So straight away, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be giving that a fucking watch. So this is a fairly quick article, Carl, and this is going to debut, or has debuted, Carl. I've missed it. Fuck.
Well,
28th
Anthony,
of March.
So the first 2 episodes have been aired, but you can watch the whole fucking thing, I believe, on ITV Player, or something else. I don't know, whatever it is. But
I promise you this, Carl. I'm going to binge it, and then I'll let you know how I feel.
You binge it, tell me if it's any good, and then maybe I'll watch it.
But genuinely, those who are a fan of the sitcom format and wrestling, which basically is people like me and Carl, it's going to be worth a go. It's going to be a 6-part series based on wrestling, and we don't often get that. And they keep using this tagline of like the Northwest's oldest pro wrestling promotion, which we're from the Northwest, Carl, and we're old, so that just tweaks us straight away. We're like, yes, let's watch this.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm going to watch it. If you tell me it's even half good, I'm going to watch it.
So, well, I'll give it a go, and I'll let you know. That's feels like a slogan of some sort. But
give it a go, let you know.
There you go. So, tune in, be there, and be square.
Be square. Speaking of squares, so WWE has partnered with Fanatics, who were a shit company. And I know this. Damn. I've got personal investment in this because
someone's got a vendetta. Tell me, Carl. With your
so the wonderful club that is Everton Football Club partners with Fanatics.
Oh shit!
And basically, if you want to buy any of Everton's merchandise, you can't get it from fucking anywhere. So they're shit. They're crap. Basically, but WWE partnered with them, so that's that. Yeah, good news. But essentially, a press release was unveiled stating that WWE and Fanatics announced a comprehensive long-term sport and entertainment partnership that will see Fanatics utilize its expanded digital sports platform to create a new, enhanced experience for WWE fans globally across several businesses, including e-commerce and licensed merchandise, as well as physical, digital, and non-fungible token NFT trading cards. Of course they're an NFT. Of course they are.
What a load of wank.
Yeah.
Like, that was a series of fucking buzzwords that ended with non-fungible fucking token.
Of course. That's
anything other than fucking nonsense in that statement.
That's how it works, right? I mean, isn't N in NFT stand for nonsense? Is that not what it is?
Fucking nonsense fucking tokens.
These nonsense fucking tokens.
Honestly, everything, like, even before you got to NFT, they just talk, like, even any time, like, this might be a bit of an overstatement on my part because I'm ignorant to the whole thing. Anytime anyone mentions fucking e-commerce, I feel like they're 80% bullshit, right?
It's true.
What are they going to do? They're going to do fuck all. That's what they're going to do. Sorry, go on.
That's true. As someone who's worked in e-commerce for the last 12 years, I agree.
But, like, you don't turn up and go, what we're going to do is we're going to streamline WWE and improve their e-commerce. You actually just do your job. Like, this statement feels like bullshit. Are Fanatics actually going to do anything for WWE at this point, Carl?
I love that.
I love this, right? Because you have like an inside track because you deal with e-commerce and UX and that sort of stuff, right? Is there anything tangible that this company can do for WWE that they are not already doing for themselves? That's my question.
They can't even sell their own fucking gear on their own site.
Exactly. And this is I feel like the statement was just full of fucking buzzwords, is my point. And I feel like they're not going to do shit.
Well, do you want some buzzwords? Because Vince McMahon himself has commented on this relationship, saying, Fanatics is the industry leader and Michael Rubin is a visionary pal, said Vince McMahon. I added the pal. We believe this multi-platform partnership...
Literally, what are you going to do?
Yeah, we're going to do, pal. We believe this multi-platform partnership will set a new standard for WWE commerce, apparel and merchandise, while providing our fans globally with more ways than ever to engage with WWE and our superstars. Bullshit.
That is a really long-winded way of saying we're going to start selling NFTs of your favourite wrestlers. That's a really long fucking winded way of putting that, isn't it?
Basically. So Fanatics are going to exclusively reintroduce a new rapid e-commerce and mobile destination. WWE Shop, giving fans around the world access to a leading assortment of merchandise, including apparel, hard goods, such as title belts, etc. Who cares? They won't be able to sell it or fulfill it.
Because of your background, right? Can you translate that into plain English for me? What are they going to do?
We're going to sell your stuff, except we won't hold the stock, and we'll short ship all the orders, and people won't come to us anyway because they'll go through you, and then we won't be able to fulfill it.
I love it. I love the fact that you can cut through this wording and tell me what they're really saying. It's
cut
brilliant.
Through the bullshit. Basically, Fanatics are going to start selling shit. No one ever shops on Fanatics. Therefore, they'll basically help WWE Shop or Euroshop sell the stuff, and we'll do a terrible job of doing so.
In a deal that will only benefit Fanatics, maybe. Cool.
Basically,
thanks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love how you come out of this straight away. Like, I don't like them.
Mm-mm.
And I don't even have like a horse in this race, but I don't like them. Fuck it.
Fuck them. That's it. We're in this together, Anthony.
That's what
By proxy, you hate HBK, right?
Damn right. I don't even know who HBK is or what he did, but I fucking hate him.
And I hate Kyle O'Reilly because of his stupid face. And that was all you, baby.
Solidarity. Love it. Right, Carl, next one, quite a quick one, because he didn't really give us anything to fucking work with, if I'm honest with you. Fandango quite recently tweeted, here's the tweet, Carl, and this is why there's nothing to work with. He tweeted, "I'll be stepping away from the ring in a couple of months. Goodbye forever." And then deactivated his Twitter account. So,
okay.
That's the news. There you go. Like,
well,
what's the make of this? This is kind of sudden.
As a fanatic, see what I did there? Fandango, fanatic. See that? See that? Seamless. Yeah, it was quite surreal seeing that post. To be fair, I hope there's nothing, too actually kind of what's the word? Ominous around what he's posted. I think, if he's just going to retire, then fair play. He's had a really good career. Worked with Jericho at Mania, had some good stuff with Tyler Breeze.
One of his highlights, that. Yeah,
indeed. But if it sounds a bit like, I don't know, a little bit ominous. Hopefully, it's nothing more than just him announcing he's going to retire. But
I think that the stepping away forever, the sort of, I suppose it's the blunt manner, isn't it? Like the stepping away forever and then deactivating his Twitter so there can be no follow up is rather blunt and sudden. And I think that's what makes you go, well, what's gone on there? Like it feels like it's not a positive thing for him, if that makes any sense. So I hope it's nothing like you say, but like obviously we can't know, and he's entitled to his own sort of. That's his business, and a lot of people will probably come at it like that. Well, it's not, doesn't have to tell you. He's not obliged to tell you, and I get that. But at the same time, it's a curious one. And
I think he did. He did post something on Instagram. I think day before, around he's going to be making an appearance at Zack Ryder's and Brian Myers' promotion as part of the major wrestling figs thing. So hopefully, he's still actively doing dates and stuff, and hopefully it's just a case of he's going to retire. But yeah, ominous it seemed, and let's hope that's not the case, because Dirty Dango is a ledge and he supports Everton, and there you go.
A fair ledge, I get it.
Indeed. So the next one to talk about some controversy, apparently. So it's been noted that Tony Khan had a heated discussion with MJF this past weekend. So Fightful Select picked up on this, saying that Khan took issue with MJF openly discussing his AEW contract status and the interest from WWE on the Ariel Helwani show without notifying AEW's PR team, Anthony, who was so good to work with.
No, he didn't speak to Erin.
We said the name. We said the name.
I'm avoiding it all these years.
This has been years in the making of, avoiding that. But fuck it, we're going with it, right? Erin.
We think, I don't know if she's technically their PR team, but she's certainly one of the...
She is the PR team.
Yeah, she is probably the PR team.
It's Erin.
But their management company. Yeah. Now, I have an opinion on this, Carl. I think this is entirely a work. I think we talked about this briefly earlier. I don't want to jump over your news point. But I've never seen MJF had a character, and I don't think he's had a character here.
I mean, yeah, MJF apparently not securing the interview with the PR team. Like, literally, we know for a fact that when he was on the show the last time with the guy who isn't really funny or interesting that has a show.
What's his name
guy
again?
Yeah, exactly. That guy. Do you know what I mean? It's like a really shit show, but they had MJF on, so it was like that. Yeah, it's cool. But he's just basically really just annoying. That guy. Anyway.
I feel scared to guess.
Say all the names, Anthony. This is a character assassination. No, there's some fucking guy that MJF went on a show and he was just like the whole time, and it was like Aaron was definitely there.
I'm not gonna guess because because he's more famous than us, and I'll get fired for it. And I don't mean it's the only show I've seen him interview on, and that's the only reason I'm guessing. It's not because I think he's shit, but I was thinking CVV. Yeah.
No, it's not Van Vliet.
Right, and again, it's nothing against Van Vliet. I was just like, that's the only interview I've seen MJF do. And are you talking about that?
I'll tell you what about Van. No, I kid. No, CVV is cool with us, but no, there's some proper shit thing that he was on with some guy who's clearly in character, but like making out like he's just a fucking idiot, basically. But MJF was on that, and he basically. You could tell it was Aaron because on the sidelines. But yeah, not the best representation for the PR team. But I don't believe. It's your fault. You said a name.
I know we started it. We opened that kind of way.
I'm gonna go all in. You know what I'm saying? Cody did it, and now look where Cody is.
Back in WWE, Aaron.
Exactly, Aaron. The one thing I won't do is the inside joke that we have about this, because that's for us, and we won't go there.
That would be too much.
We won't go there. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, also Dave Meltzer has weighed in on this because we know Uncle Dave's got all the facts these days. Basically saying that, oh no, it's all cool now, it's all settled, and even though the story is true. There was no fight or physical altercation. Well, no shit, Dave. It was not reported that there was one. But, okay.
Duh.
And it's like...
I mean, you could report that every week about a lot of people, Dave, if we're going to start rolling that shit out there.
Exactly. And he's like, MJF isn't afraid to stir the pot until his contract renewal. Well, no shit. Because to your point, he was in fucking character, wasn't he?
And this is why I think there's no way he's done an interview with someone and it's not been cleared. That is a character thing. He's gone on to an interview. It's not been cleared with the PR team, and he's been talking about his contract. That's all a little too convenient, isn't
it? I mean, to be fair, though, even if Ariel contacted him directly, he was like, fucking hell, Terry Halwani. Yeah, why not? I'll jump on the show. And he forgot to tell the team. Why would there be some major fucking, thing from that? How
dare you put a spotlight on yourself on our show, consequently.
Exactly. And, as you said, he's always in character. He said on the show a million times that he's going to let his contract wind down and see what happens, and maybe WWE will pick him up, whatever. He said that.
It's part of his whole arrogant heel thing, isn't it?
So, yeah, I can't believe there's any kind of animosity there between the two of them. If anything, it would have been Tony Khan going, "Oh, you should have cleared it." Oh, yes, I didn't. Yeah, no worries.
Like Tony Khan. Can relate to this. Don't you hate it when your wrestling figures start defying you and doing interviews behind your back?
Exactly.
Fuck's sake.
The problem is when you buy the character, you don't buy the individual.
That is true. That is true.
So they can make their own decisions. It's not like it's a fucking Tamagotchi. You know what I'm saying?
Look at Cody Rhodes.
Look at Cody Rhodes. Yeah. Although in your mind. That's still all in cahoots.
All an evil plot, Carl. That's my tinfoil hat conspiracy right there. It's all an evil plot.
But no, we kid, Aaron, we love you really. Even though you won't get us anybody that we ask for. We know you're doing your job, you get it, and you want to kind of put your talent out in the best light possible. And, why would you put them to us where we would shoot the shit and, you know.
That is true. That is true.
Talk some facts. But no, you know, believe it or not, we never have any of our guests, you know, put under any kind of uncomfortable questioning. It's not our style.
Oh, we do. Because we're just fucking fanboys, to be honest.
We are just fanboys. Yeah. We will never say the words ass, Dan,
shit,
or Aaron. But we will. We kid. So anyway, segue aside. MJF, Tony Khan, big beef? Props not.
Who's big beef?
Oh shit, I spoiled the debut. Ryback's new.
Fucking hell, that would be a great name for Ryback.
Big beef. Just comes out, fucking getting a load of Monster Munch, just like fucking yeah.
I love it. That's quality. I don't know how to segue from that, but so Carl, the Owen Hart Cup. It's happening soon. Was it the cup? I feel like I might have said that wrong.
I won a cup.
Anyway, the news here, Carl. This Wednesday, I believe, on AEW Dynamite, we are going to see the women's tournament qualifying match. We're going to see the Bunny go up against a new signing, Carl. This is something Tony Khan has confirmed. He hasn't given anything away, but he has confirmed it's going to be a new talent signing this week. And I don't want to quote like Tony too much because he has a tendency to overhype, but he suggested this is a big name talent, right?
Major now, was used. A major.
The word major was used, but this is Tony Khan. So pinch of salt, everyone. Pinch of salt, right? And I'm not disrespecting whoever he signed, but he's overhyped stuff before. Like something that could have been a big deal, he's made it sound like a massive deal, and then we've kind of gone, oh. So, you know, just hold back a little so you can feel surprised is all I'm saying. Right? But I mean,
I suppose the question is
signing, which is fantastic for the women's division.
I mean, the question is, who could it be? Who is available right now? Athena available. Mia Yim available.
Could be Mia Yim. Keith Lee's already part of the company.
Toni Storm.
Toni Storm, she's making like more money than God on OnlyFans now apparently. So
has she got an OnlyFans?
I don't know how that works.
Is it live?
Does God even make it? Like that might not have worked.
God makes all the money.
Carl, come on. You know whether she's got OnlyFans or not. Come on, Carl.
I mean, all I can say is there was a Toni Storm in my pants.
No, kid. I have no idea whether she's actually on it yet or the structure of how it works, but I keep seeing loads of social media about like she's making a shit ton of money through it, or is set to anyway. So fair play to her. Never needs to wrestle again. Just needs to get her ass out or whatever you do on OnlyFans.
I mean, it's just pure, wholesome content, I imagine.
Yeah, there's guides on like cooking and stuff on there probably.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I would like you're talking to the right audience now. That's the kind of shit I would subscribe for. Like legit, give me your recipes.
Hell's Kitchen.
Like legit, that is all I watch. Shot of Brandy. That's why Shot of Brandy is amazing to me. Like it's all my favorite things. Cooking shows, wrestling.
And she's there like, if you subscribe, you can recommend like ingredients, and you're like, oh yeah, throw some peppers in there, Brandy.
Bit of turmeric. I kid. But yeah, so
turmeric. That's your t-shirt right there.
Just a little bit of turmeric. But yeah, I think this is a interesting one. So again, is Tony Khan overhyping? Remains to be seen. But Anthony will know in literally a matter of minutes, because we're now into Thursday morning, because we are tardy and we did this one late. But yeah, I think it's got to be one of them, hasn't it? It's got to be either Athena, it's got to be Toni Storm, or it's got to be the other one that I said, whose name I can't remember right now. Did I say Anthony? Will you listen to me? You should know if you listen to me.
Mia Yim and Toni Storm.
Mia Yim, there you go. That's it. You said it. No, I did say. Well, you said Athena, but I chimed. So yeah, it's gonna be one of them three, surely.
Athena seems to be a name that's been banded around a lot, but she's not signed with them, so it just makes sense to me. That.
Yeah. But either way, it's like people take umbrage to this. It's like, oh, there's another major announcement every week on Dynamite. It's
We're gonna go
run out
full
to pop.
WWE, and it's Cody in a wig. Still possible. Still possible.
Yeah, you never know.
Cody with an IE now.
Yeah.
Because, if it's good for Santino, it's good for Cody.
Shows his documents from his surgery saying, I gave it all away, I gave it all away. Yeah, terrible. We're going to get cancelled for that. I apologise. So, moving on to the next and I think final one for this week. So,
final one on the news. What else to add to that?
Oh, it felt like there was going to be something coming. I was excited. So, the last one. Uncle Dave has been at it again. Lay off the sauce, Uncle Dave. That's all I'm saying. He has reported that it's penciled in. And of course, if you write something in pencil, it can't be erased, Anthony.
I know, it's like,
penciled in.
It's the shittest way of putting it. They didn't want to use ink because plans change.
Exactly. But right now, it's penciled in that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is set to face Roman Reigns at next year's WrestleMania. Now, it's been speculated.
He said, unless Black Adam does well, and then fuck his...
Yeah, unless there's a sequel, in which case you're on your own. But yeah, so obviously speculated for a long time now of will we get The Rock versus Roman Reigns? Obviously the lineage, the Anoa'i family, the story writes itself, but obviously what happened at the Rumble, etc. We can go on, but yeah, apparently Uncle Dave said the situation with The Rock is exactly what you'd think. The belief is Rock wants to do it. They believe that is the probable main event, but they are all very aware there are things that can get in the way and it could not happen. We're working ideas that the match for Roman Reigns against The Rock for LA. It's absolutely not etched in stone by any means, but there's been this idea for months and months and months. That's not a surprise, but nothing's changed in the sense he hasn't backed out and are of the opinion that he really wants it because time is running out for him. If he doesn't do it, he gets a year older each time. Is it going to happen? It's out of everyone's hands. So in other words...
This is up there, right? Like, not to go too personal, but we've mentioned a few things about our podcast this week. This is up there with, like, when we message a wrestler, a particularly famous wrestler, I won't name any names, right? And go, well, I'm not available right now, but check in with me in the future. And then we announce that we've got a big star coming up. It's like, it's not true. Like, Dave is just pissing in the wind there. This is as much as we knew beforehand. Like, unless plans change, this is going to happen. Like, yeah, we all could have fucking figured that out. No offense, Dave.
Have we ever done that?
With one wrestler in particular who we both would love to get, and we still occasionally go, what about now?
But oh yeah, did we actually put that out there as it was?
No. What I'm saying is that would be like the equivalent of us messaging someone and getting that kind of response, and then announcing that it's a possibility. It's like, that's as much information as like that. It's so woolly. It's not worth mentioning. But
I mean, part of me was thinking that I put this out there as a Instagram story.
No. That's my point. That we wouldn't put it out there because it's so far from being like a fact that you go, well, there's no point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm giving it as an equivalent. We wouldn't, like, you and I wouldn't really put that out there if we didn't have something saying yes, let's do it on this date or something like that. But that's my point. Is like he's going, well, unless plans change and nothing is etched in stone and so on like that. It's like, so you don't know. That's the part. Everyone's been speculating. Hollywood makes sense for The Rock, and it would be great as a family storyline, as you mentioned quite earlier on, Carl. Like, is there any info beyond, like, well, that sounds like a good idea? You know what I mean?
Yeah, doesn't seem to be, unfortunately. Uncle Dave doing his, doing what he does best. Of, I've got it on good authority. This is going to happen, except things might change and it might not happen. The end.
Rock didn't say it wouldn't happen. It's like, what?
Did anyone ask him? No. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I think would it be amazing to get The Rock versus Roman Reigns? Absolutely. Would it top this year's greatest main event of all time? Absolutely. And that's what WWE are all about, aren't they? They want to top what they do every year, except when they can't, so they put out a shit card.
Here's my question for you, Carl. Other than being bitter about the Dave approach, would you want the match, or would you want a level of Rock appearances beforehand? If that makes sense. Do you want it to be literally the match happening at Mania, or do you want like weeks and weeks of The Rock appearing on weekly television?
The match. I want the match to happen. I would love
You don't need a Rock build.
No. I think what's been proven, especially in recent times, is that people can build a feud with someone else on their own. Now, it's not my preferred approach.
If anyone could, Roman actually could. To be fair, I don't think I'd be saying that. But.
I mean, it's not my preferred approach, but obviously you've got the likes of, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, to name but a few, who are building their own Mania for this year by themselves. Now, I don't think The Rock would be the kind of guy to do that. Now, obviously, his schedule wouldn't allow him to be there every week.
See, however, the reason I asked is I'm remembering his last run and the fact he gave himself like a title run with that.
Yeah.
Get again, maybe.
I don't think he'll ever get the title again. I think he will absolutely get an opportunity to go up against Roman for the title and lose it. But I think he might
just
also
Roman, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah, and he's not going to be there every week. He might make 1 or 2 appearances maximum, but he might even do some video things as well, like he did with Cena, where he's like, in the middle of the fucking. Yeah.
I'm busy being a big Hollywood star, but let me talk shit.
Yeah, exactly. But I love it. Like that would be, that is like Rock versus Cena levels almost, based on the rise of Roman over the last year or two, and
rise of Rome.
They've got the NOI connection as well, so it might even add something a little bit extra to be controversial. But I was hugely hyped for Rock versus Cena. I fucking loved that WrestleMania build. I loved the match. I thought it was fantastic. Shame that they actually run it back the next year. But the outcome was unexpected and everything. I didn't think Rock was going to win, and then obviously they did the whole 2-year thing. Like, I loved the whole thing. So if they do something similar with Roman, I will be on board, and it will be fucking epic. That's what I'm saying.
Indeed. And The Rock, he's just not to coin someone else's gimmick, he's a genetic freak, isn't he, The Rock,
He's the genetic, rock climber. So yeah, that is the news this week, Anthony. We've covered...
And it's news you can use.
News you can use. So, a lot going on. Potential WrestleMania 39 main event announced ahead of even WrestleMania 38 taking place. We've got, obviously, the sad news of Triple H's retirement. We've got MJF and Tony Khan. Have they had a falling out? Is it a work? Who knows? But ultimately, a lot of shit going on. And we'll always report on it here at the A2theK Wrestling Show.
That's true.
But until we talk about the WrestleMania predictions shortly, we're going to bid you a farewell. But until then, we are going to throw you over to our friends at For the Love of Wrestling to tell you about the upcoming wrestling convention taking place later this month. Except we're in March, so technically not this month. But still, it's the 31st of March, so...
It's pretty much this month.
Basically, soon. So, here's the guys.
For Love of Wrestling, Europe's largest wrestling convention, returns to the Exhibition Centre in Liverpool on the 23rd and 24th of April. Guests this year include Diva of the Decade, Trish Stratus, the Wrestling God, JBL, the Dudley Boys, Tori Wilson, and just announced MJF from AEW. We will also be doing a Wyatt family reunion as we welcome Eric Rowan, the man formerly known as Braun Strowman, and indeed the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Also just announced is the man, the legend, the icon, Sting. And of course, your Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle. This and many, many, many more guests, as well as prop builds, Q&As with all of the wrestlers, and some of the biggest wrestling collections in the world on display from our exhibitors. Get your tickets at forloveofwrestling.co.uk or search Facebook or Twitter for the Love of Wrestling. For the Love of Wrestling, Europe's biggest wrestling convention, returns to Liverpool the 23rd and the 24th of April.
This is Griff Garrison, and you're listening to A to the K.
A to the K.
A to the K.